Buonasera.
Pope Francis was a celebrated pontiff and informal Jesuit who promoted mercy, concern for the poor, interfaith dialogue, and social justice. His ascent came at a critical time for the Catholic Church, which was being challenged by scandals involving corruption and incompetence in the Vatican. Jorge Mario Bergoglio was born in Buenos Aires, the eldest son of Italian immigrants. As a young man, Bergoglio held several jobs before joining, in 1958, what he considered the front lines of the Church. After a decade of working in theology, at just 36, he became the provincial leader of Argentina's Jesuits. Soon after, the country's dirty wars broke out. Priests across Latin America started to embrace social movements, and in some cases, Marxism. Bergoglio was caught in the middle, choosing to not openly support either side, but continue the Church's work. He became estranged from many Jesuits in Argentina, ousted as their leader, and virtually exiled from Buenos Aires. Catholic leaders appointed him Archbishop of Buenos Aires in 1998 and Cardinal in 2001. As Cardinal, he became a prominent and beloved figure in Argentina, especially for his work in the city's slums. On February 11, 2013, Pope Benedict XVI suddenly announced his resignation, the first pontiff to do so in 600 years. As one of the 115 cardinals, Bergoglio booked a round-trip ticket to Rome to help elect the next pope. To widespread surprise, even among experienced Vatican watchers, he was chosen.
To have finally a Latin American pope is just wonderful.
He took the name of St. Francis of Assisi, the patron saint of the poor, the first Jesuit pope, the first from the Americas and the Southern Hemisphere. His succession of Pope Benedict, a month after he resigned, led to the unusual arrangement of two papal leaders both living within Vatican walls. His approach to papal duties was markedly less formal, choosing to reside in a guest house rather than the customary apostolic palace. And while Benedict sought to cultivate a core of ardent believers, to re-energize Catholicism, especially among its dwindling flock in Europe, Pope Francis sought to broaden the Church's appeal by de-emphasizing doctrinal differences. Signature to his Jesuit training, the Pope pushed for openness, most notably to expanding the role of women and LGBTQ Catholics.
Se una persona è gay e cerca il Signore e ha buona volontà, ma chi sono io per giudicarla?
As politicians in the West moved to close their borders, Pope Francis became a leading advocate for refugees and other migrants. He opposed far-right movements and pressed for action against climate change.
It seems clear to me also that climate change is a problem we can no longer be left to a future generation.
Francis faced open opposition from theological conservatives, especially in the U.S., who felt his emphasis on an inclusive church weakened its teaching. They also feared he would loosen the celibacy requirement for priests, but in February 2020, he decided against it. While Pope Francis backed zero tolerance for abusive priests, victims and their supporters claimed he didn't do enough. In the largest scandal of his pontificate, a former Vatican diplomat called on the Pope's resignation over the issue. Francis didn't silence his opponents, but he did reshape the Church's power structure, elevating more liberal cardinals and those in the global South. During more than 6 decades of service to the Catholic Church, Pope Francis remained committed to social justice and direct pastoral work. Even in his later years, the 88-year-old Pope kept up an intense work schedule, often giving multiple speeches and holding numerous meetings each day, as well as traveling abroad. During the final 2 years of his life, he suffered from various health problems, including bronchitis. He was hospitalized in Rome in mid-February to treat a worsening lung infection that turned into pneumonia.